Chapter 19. Almost Missing It. I seldom sleep on flights, but boarding my late-night flight from Washington, D.C. back to Denver, I was extremely tired following a weekend of ministry. Flight attendants immediately passed out pillows and blankets in full expectation that most of us would sleep in the hours ahead. As soon as the plane took off, I adjusted my seat back and squirmed around until I found a somewhat comfortable position. Almost immediately, I began to doze off. I'm not sure how much time had passed when a passenger across the aisle put his hand on my shoulder and startled me out of my deep sleep. Abruptly waking in a strange place, with a strange man hovering over me, I nearly came up swinging. The man realized his quick need to explain, "Sir, I'm sorry to wake you, but you've got to look out the window on my side of the plane." "Is something wrong?" I interrupted, still in a state of startled panic. "No, not at all," he replied. "It's just that there's the most incredible lightning show going on in the sky on this side of the plane. I've never seen anything like it. I think you'll want to see it." His excited invitation failed to convince me that whatever was happening on his side of the airplane was worth interrupting my sleep. As a frequent flyer, I have witnessed plenty of heavenly power and light shows from airplane windows over the years. Really good ones. On this night, I didn't need to see a lightning show. I needed sleep. I sat for a moment, a little upset. But I knew I wouldn't be able to get back to sleep. The man must have felt my resistance. "Sir, it's really spectacular. You should see it." The half-empty plane made it easy to slide over to his side and look out the window. What I witnessed next was truly amazing. A once-in-a-lifetime experience. I've never seen anything like it before or since. Nearly every second, a new lightning bolt fired and created a new color and light pattern in the cumulus clouds, and my reaction resembled his. "Wow, I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing," I said in a voice far too loud for the dark, sleepy environment of the plane's cabin. I quickly turned around to see if I'd wakened anyone. Several sleep-disturbed faces glared back at me. And suddenly, I became the insensitive guy who woke me up. But now I understood. I repeated to the others what the guy said to me. Initially, they looked just as annoyed as I had moments earlier. "I'm sorry to wake you, but I've traveled for years and something amazing is happening in the sky on this side of the plane. I wanted them to enjoy it with me, and I was convinced they would eventually appreciate my insistence once they witnessed the same majestic heavenly production as my new friend and me." A bit reluctant, a few other passengers made their way to the windows, suddenly responding like me. Before I knew it, our reaction to the lightning storm started a slow domino effect throughout the plane. One person after another heard the stirring commotion and watched the growing crowd peering out the windows on one side of the plane, and soon nearly everyone in the plane, including the flight attendants, joined us, watching the incredible fireworks display. The ever-increasing volume of oohs and ahs in the once sleepy environment made for a humorous scene. Only minutes before, nearly all of us were asleep. Suddenly, we were wide awake and fully engaged. And it all started with just one guy, committed to wake us up before we missed our fleeting, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once the show ended, I thanked the fellow near me for waking me. I assured him that I was glad he took the risk because he gave me and all the others the experience of a lifetime. He told me he was glad he did it. Awakening the Sleeping Giant. In the World War II movies Tora, 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 and Pearl Harbor, Japanese Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto supposedly remarked to his fleet after they attacked Pearl Harbor, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." If Yamamoto really said this line or even thought it, he was correct. Before the attack, the United States was content watching the war, despite having the power and human resources necessary to influence its outcome. The war seemed so far away, so removed from the daily lives of everyday Americans. But when the Japanese surprised the U.S. in its attack on Pearl Harbor, it awakened the sleeping giant, brought it to its feet, and filled it with great resolve. For too long, the body of Christ has played the sleeping giant. The time has come for kingdom laborers to jostle and wake up their fellow passengers from their slumber so they won't miss their once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So how do we awaken this incredibly massive and potential-laden sleeping giant? What will it take to fill Christ's worldwide body with great resolve? Imagine if every Christian woke up from their slumber, apart from the 2 hours they go to church every week, and fully engaged in God's plan A for their lives the additional 166 hours. They wouldn't quit their jobs, but they would see their jobs differently, their relationships differently, their lives differently, if they fully engaged themselves the other 166 hours in God's plan A for their lives. Imagine the manpower, the new kingdom exploits, the possibilities all around us. Imagine this resurrection power awakening God's army of everyday people worldwide. That's a massive sleeping giant bigger than Yamamoto's greatest fear. It's worth awakening one person at a time. The future of God's kingdom lies in human resources. It begins with you and me and every Christian waking up to our everyday calling as kingdom laborers. Then we must awaken the sleeping giant, using whatever grassroots influence we have, joining others who are virally spreading a wildfire Plan A movement, one life at a time, domino style. Imagine if every Christian worldwide woke up and reported for duty. You can help spread the movement, like the early followers of Jesus who announced his life-changing resurrection, person to person. You can share his life, hope, power, and presence everywhere. This movement will spread as we become so deeply convinced of the power of God's plan A for our lives that We tell others who tell others who tell others until the swelling tide of influence makes the much-needed change. You can do your part in awakening the sleeping giant in the following ways. Surrender your 24/7 life to Him. Offer your life as a living sacrifice for Spirit-directed service in His kingdom. Pursue God's plan A for your life. Surrender your 24/7 life to Him. Offer your life as a living sacrifice for Spirit-directed service in His kingdom. Pursue God's plan A for your life. Live your everyday life as a kingdom laborer, making yourself available as God's up close, along the way, mainstream, in the moment, camouflaged, storytelling, love the one in front of you, minister in your sphere of influence. Pass the baton. This is key. Like the runner on a relay team, don't just run the race marked out for yourself. Pass the baton of these Plan A truths to others. Pass them a copy of this book. Consider going through the Plan A study guide with a special individual or with a small group of friends. Pray that God will lead you to others, even perfect strangers, who may need to be woken up and jump-started as potential Plan A laborers. Multiply yourself in as many ways as you can think of. And as you awaken others, they will wake up yet others until your influence will stretch farther than you ever imagined. And the Lord of the harvest will send every new kingdom laborer into a new spiritual harvest field of influence. There's a plane load of people sleeping through the most important and exciting season of spiritual history. Who are you going to wake up first?